Hello, dear friends. We are here to a new episode of Diversilíngua, and today we are with a special guest from Bulgaria. And I'm with Andresa, the other host of this show. Hello, Andresa.
Hello. Hello to all. Nice
Oh,
to be here once again after a long time, I could say. And let's get to know Olga, and I'm excited to be here again.
Okay, so and before we start this episode, I'd like to ask you guys to follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, and also in the in the other social media, because if you follow us, you will give a message to other people that our show it's a good show to listen to watch, and we can improve even more our the quality of our episodes and give you a better content. So we are with Olga. Hello, Olga. How are you?
hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me in the show. I'm doing well, thanks. And I'm excited to be a part of your podcast.
Okay, and can you introduce yourself? Can you talk a little bit about yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
talk us about you live in Bulgaria, but is this your nationality? Talk a little bit about you can start from there and let's see.
So, my name is Olga Koeva. I'm 28 years old. I come originally from Bulgaria, but I've been living in Regensburg, Germany,
Mhm.
um, already for almost 10 years. Currently, I'm studying international relations and management. It's the bachelor's study program. And now I'm writing my thesis. I've always been interested in languages. So actually, I'm a hyperpolyglot and I'm fluent in 13 languages, including my both mother tongues.
Which
So
are?
which are Russian because my mom is Russian, and Bulgarian because I come from Bulgaria and my father is Bulgarian.
Interesting. So how many languages do you speak?
I speak 13 languages. So
Oh my God.
Bulgarian, Russian, English, German, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Czech, Dutch, Swedish, Norwegian, and Danish.
Oh my
I
God.
speak them all fluently, and for me is B2 level. Like the like at least I have to like I want to have B2 level at
Mhm.
least um, in these languages. So I speak them on different levels. Some of them on B2,
Mhm.
others on C1 or C2. So yeah, so my criteria regarding speaking a language and fluency in language are really high. So for example, if I have learned a language until I don't know B1, I cannot actually say that I speak it because B1 for me B1 is a really low level.
Mhm.
So these are my criteria. These are my requirements.
Okay. So, and we will talk in Portuguese at the end of the episodes, guys. So, if you are listening to this episode, me and Andresa will talk in Portuguese with Olga at the end of the episode. Okay.
No, okay, no problem.
So, Andre, Olga, I'm interested in how could you learn how many languages? Uh, what are your methods?
Yes, so I prefer applying a quite classical method of learning a language. This means I use textbooks with grammar and vocabulary, and CDs as well, and TTS software, text-to-speech software for the pronunciation. And so so my routine is always to study or to learn like a new lesson every week, and then to study the vocabulary, to do grammar exercises, and to, of course, study the vocabulary. When I achieve like maybe B1-ish level in the language, so I start communicating with friends, listening to radio, for example, or YouTube videos, and eventually also to use other textbooks like for more advanced level. In parallel, I also read much literature in foreign languages. So it helps me a lot to improve my vocabulary. So I would recommend to everyone to read much, to read literature, articles, for example, as well. So your vocabulary will really improve. And of course, I use good dictionaries, professional ones, not Google Translate, not Leo, but for example, for English, I use the Oxford English Dictionary or the Moritz Sanders German English and vice versa dictionary. So I have like both bilingual and monolingual dictionaries, and the bilingual ones are mostly, not mostly, are all the bilingual dictionaries are through German, because you can, I think you can seldom find dictionary through Bulgarian in an electronic format like an app or a software or something. So I think that you can more easily find a German, like a dictionary through German than through Bulgarian as an app or as a software. So that's why I'm using German, and I also prefer studying languages through German. Yeah.
So you usually use German to learn other languages, is that right?
Yeah, usually, yes. Of course, I also learned some of the languages through Bulgarian, and these are English, French, and German. This was when I was going to school in Bulgaria, so I had private teachers who were Bulgarians, and of course they were teaching me in Bulgarian. And most of the languages I've learned by myself without any teachers. So the only languages I actually learned with a teacher were even, as I said earlier, French, English, and German, and Spanish as well. So Spanish, I've learned it here in Regensburg with a Spanish teacher from Malaga. So we also used, of course, a textbook. We're studying a lot of grammar, vocabulary. So it's a classical method that I use. I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical about using apps like Duolingo, Fabulo, Memorize, or something like that many polyglots use, because I think, like in my opinion, not all the grammatical nuances are well explained in those apps. So I think you have to, like at the beginning, you should use a textbook where the basic grammar and the basic vocabulary is summarized. But it's a matter of taste. I respect all the methods that polyglots use and find them interesting. For example, speaking from day one is also an interesting method, even if I've never used them. But I find it interesting. I know some polyglots that have applied this method, speaking from day one. So yeah,
Could you explain a little bit more about this method, speaking from day
speaking
one?
from day one. So you like when you start to learn a new language, to study a new language. So you start or you try, you always try to talk either to yourself
Mm-hmm.
or to others using the vocabulary and grammar that you've just learned. For example, many polyglots go to restaurants and order food in the language in question, in the target language, or they talk to themselves in everyday situations. For example, now I'm getting up and I'm gonna brush my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I do
Wash my
that.
face and eat breakfast. So they speak. They don't stop speaking in the target language. So, and this might help many of the polyglots. So this means speaking from day one.
Interesting, interesting. I was thinking about that you what you have said, that you said that grammar is important, and I see that a lot of people they are afraid to learn grammar because they think that grammar must not be useful to speak the language. What do you think about the grammar? Because we see a lot of people, I'm not learning that language by grammar because grammar will not help me to speak.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah,
So
like
I know some polyglots that avoid studying grammar and only like listen to people and try to like imitate them and to speak a language, but usually they speak with many mistakes because they don't know the grammar. But they confess, like they say, yeah, I know that I speak with like I make mistakes. I'm
Mhm.
not sure that I speak correctly. They confess it. Yeah. So in my opinion, grammar is really important, and like people shouldn't be afraid of grammar. So because if you don't know the grammar, how on earth will you understand like the patterns or the structures of a language? So
Mhm.
how is it possible?
Mhm.
For example, I don't understand much of the methods, for example, teachers on italki use. So they only use like they only speak to the student or like talk to the student or uh, study with them like poems, like small poems or
Mhm.
songs, and they mm, like they want the students to find out the patterns or the structures by themselves, and like this point I cannot understand it much because uh, like every person is different, and
Mhm.
some people like they have a very good logic, so like they or way of thinking, so they think and they say, yeah, so I notice this structure or that structure, but other people are like don't have like rational way of thinking, so they
Mhm.
cannot like explain um, themselves a pattern or a structure of a language by themselves. So someone has to explain to them
Mhm.
how this works or how this phenomenon works or that phenomenon. So that's why I think that um, like grammar should be combined with these newer methods that are used, for example, on italki. I don't mind these methods, no, but I think that grammar should be present anyways.
Mhm.
yeah,
Interesting.
I kind of have the same opinion as you. That of course, as you mentioned, people learn in different ways. They use different methods, and it's great when you know what is the best one for you. And of course, I think only with practice that you can acquire these self knowledge. But I think that grammar is important, but and it's difficult when people just avoid using grammar, but at the same time it's okay if you this is how you learn, the way you learn. But I think, like, for me, for example, I don't know about you, but I don't know you, Diego, like
Mhm.
I like to be exposed to the language, and then through the like in the meantime I get some information about the grammar and
Mhm.
how it's better to like the best way to use it.
Mhm.
I think it's some kind of respect with the language itself, to like with the people that speak them, to use it in the best way you can. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the grammar is important. At the same time, when you want to learn how to dance a specific kind of dance, like, because for me, I love ballroom dance, dance in couples, and what I've learned is that everyone can dance, but if they take class, and in the class you will learn like the grammar of the dancing, of the dance, of that kind of dance. And during the parties you will learn how to be fluent, you know. And I think that the same applies to music. And I know that Olga plays piano and other instruments, I think. And I'd like to know if for her it's the same. For example, if you want to play an instrument, you must learn the grammar of the instrument. That could be the theoretical part of the knowledge, and then you must apply that when you train, how to play that instrument. Is that right, Olga? Do you think like that?
Yeah, I think you are right, Diego, because yes, I'm a professional musician. I play the piano and the organ, and I sing a little bit as well. And now I'm studying guitar as well. So of course, you have to learn the techniques of playing an instrument, so how to interpret a piece of music. You have to learn how, like, to interpret in a certain style, for example, like Baroque, classic style, or romantic, or modern, or whatever.
Mhm.
Of course, in the classes, and then you have to apply all these techniques when you practice, of course. Um, so I'm not like autodidact didactic. So I usually prefer studying musical instruments with a teacher. So
Mhm.
that's why I also have a guitar teacher
Mhm.
that comes to me, like, comes home, and we study different songs in different styles. For example, we've done a little bit of blues, a little bit of rock, uh, and a little bit of bossa nova, because my
Oh.
goal is to learn to play and to sing bossa nova on the
Oh,
guitar.
great.
So now my teacher is like preparing to me like easier bossa novas. So because I know bossa nova is very difficult, but my teacher is trying, like, to apply some chords that are like easier, like more for beginners.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's my
Interesting.
plan. That's my goal. I like bossa nova very much, and I can play it on the piano and sing. But like, my goal is to do the same with the guitar, to
Mhm.
accompany myself and to sing.
Yeah, and the
I know
guitar
many
is.
songs.
I think it's harder than with piano. I don't know.
Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that. Do you have any other questions about this, Diego? I was going to return to the
To the topic.
mother language.
Okay. Yeah, you
That's
can keep it. You can keep going.
okay. Olga, I was just curious about the fact that you said that you grew up having, like, you have two mother languages, right? So how did this work? Did your mother spoke with you in one language and your father spoke in another language? How was that?
Mhm. So no, my mother spoke in both languages because she was with me like together all day. My father was at work, my grandparents were at work, so I had contact with only with my mother, so that's why she spoke both languages in parallel, and we were studying in parallel words in both languages. So I've always asked, for example, how is, I don't know, soap in Bulgarian, or how is like cabbage in Russian or something. So it worked really well. I've never confused, and I still don't confuse both languages. I can read, write in these languages perfectly. Yeah, of course, in Bulgarian it's obvious because I've graduated school in Bulgarian, but in Russian I can also read classical literature, even classical literature, and um, write as well. And yeah, it's no problem for me. I'm fluent. I'm native in Russian as well.
That's fascinating. I think it's so interesting. Like I met a Chinese woman the last week, I think, and she said that she's here for 10 years in Hungary,
Mhm.
and that she said that she had two children. She has two children, and they are in a Hungarian school, and like, but she struggles sometimes to teach them Chinese at home, and then they speak more Hungarian than Chinese. And so she says that Chinese is very difficult language for like everyone, and at the same time Hungarian is very difficult. And I think that for you, for example, Russian has a different alphabet and than Bulgarian, right? How is this?
No,
It's,
no,
it's
the
the same?
alphabet is the same. We
Okay.
only have like there only are three letters that are not present in the Bulgarian alphabet, but are present in the Russian one. But it's the same alphabet, Cyrillic. And I think that like if you communicate much with your with your parents and so on, so you'll never forget like the second language. So for example, this Chinese woman that you had, maybe her children don't speak Chinese to her, or don't communicate with her really often, or maybe there is no like a tradition at home to speak only Chinese, because we like my family, we had like a rule that we spoke Russian at home and Bulgarian outside. This was like the rule, but now it's now it's like the same for me which language we speak at home and outside. So we can also mix them, so not mix them up, but I mean speak a little bit in Bulgarian, then a little bit in Russian. That's no problem.
So I'm curious about the topic of mother tongue, Olga, because I I have a friend who his daughter her daughter was taking class in Germany because she was living in Germany, and then her daughter was taking classes in German. Okay, and then when she came back to her home, usually they speak in Portuguese with her. But then they moved to Portugal, and now the child is not speaking too much German, and I think that she is losing she's losing the fluency of German. And I'm curious about when you start studying at the school, was in Bulgarian or in Russian or in another language? How was that?
Of course, I was studying at the National Music School in Sofia, and
Mm-hmm.
all the subjects were in Bulgarian.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't study at the language school, because in Bulgaria there are many language schools, for example,
Mm-hmm.
high schools where like you can apply at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the 7th grade, and from the 8th grade to the end of your education, like until the 12th grade, so you can intensively study a language, and even subjects in the language, in the target language. But no, I'm a musician, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't study at a language school. So all the languages I've learned with private teachers in
Okay.
Bulgaria.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's all what I have in my mind about mother tongues. I don't know if you, Andresa, has another question.
I think this, if we are starting talking about mother tongue and like acquiring another language, as like acquiring multiple languages as a child, like we have many questions. And but I was just another curiosity about you, Olga, is that like how was the learning languages and being visual impaired, like how was
Mm.
this process for you, and uh, can you talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so because I'm totally blind, I've been using Braille during all my life.
Mm-hmm.
So Braille is really important to me. And I don't like, for example, audio, like audiobooks or TTS, text to speech,
Mm-hmm.
that much. So, of course, when I study a new language, I do use TTS, text to speech, software for the pronunciation, or CDs, also like audio CDs for the pronunciation. But I don't like audiobooks. So that's why I have learned all my languages through Braille, be it on paper or with a Braille display that I have here, and I want to show it to
Mm-hmm.
you. This is
Interesting.
a device, electronic
Mm-hmm.
device, so that can be paired to my computer and to my iPhone, so I can read by myself in Braille everything that is on the screen.
Oh my God.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
so usually if there were textbooks in Braille, like on paper, I used them. But if there weren't, we usually both a normal textbook, a normal script,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother scanned it and converted it into Word format, so I could read it
Oh,
on my Braille display. And
interesting.
it takes very much time.
Mm, yeah.
So it was difficult for my mom, because she has, like, during the conversion, there can appear many errors.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom had to correct everything, so like read letter by letter on the paper textbook,
Mm-hmm.
so the hard copy, or not hard copy, but the on paper, and correct everything in the Word file.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult, but that's
Yeah,
how I learned.
it seems your mother is someone special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's very
because
special.
yes, she's very special for you. For I think that she has a she knows that what is better for you, and for that reason she do that in order make those books available for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
of course, of course.
Very kind.
But I'm aware that, for example, for my next foreign language that I want to learn, it would be extremely hard for my mom to
What
convert
would be the
everything.
next?
Yeah, it's Japanese.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God.
And that's why I've already found textbooks in Braille in Japan. So
Oh,
I'm really glad because my mom doesn't need to
what
convert
a
and
relief.
scan and do nothing, anything.
I once I tried to learn Mandarin, but for me it was so difficult because of these tones. They have too many tones, and I gave up.
For example, how is this?
Yeah, because they have like for example, he. It's difficult to understand the difference because they have like a tone that is getting up, other tone that is getting down. They have multiple tones, and for me it's kind of hard. I don't know if Helga tried to learn Mandarin.
No.
Yeah, but for me it was hard to understand the difference.
Yeah, I know, but maybe in the future I will learn Mandarin, but first Japanese. I would like to learn because I like the melody of Japanese, especially when women talk, because there are different melody, like a different melody of the language when a man talks and when a man speaks and when a woman speaks.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I think the same.
And do you like manga?
Manga, like the mango?
No, those comic books of Japanese comic books that you
comic. No, I don't think they are like accessible for us. Comic in general. No. Maybe when I achieve I don't know, intermediate level or something, I'm gonna watch animes in order to practice listening comprehension, because I know there are many dialogues, but comic books, no, I don't think they are like accessible for us.
I understand
Because there are many pictures,
Okay, so I think that we can switch to Portuguese to talk a little bit in Portuguese. What do you think, Olga?
Yeah, we can. The software.
Como foi a semana, Olga?
Sim, a semana, sim, foi muito bem. Porque pois agora estou escrevendo a minha tese e pois li muitos materiais sobre estatísticas, como
estatística?
Sim, como por exemplo, como analisar um questionário, que métodos existem, etc. E agora já tenho um conceito, uma concepção, como analisar, e vou começar com a análise. Porque já escrevi a minha parte teórica. E pois o que me falta é análise.
Isso é um doutorado, né, que você faz?
Não, eu licenciado, né?
Graduação, né?
Licenciado como
licenciatura,
Bachelor, né? Licenciatura, mas doutorado não é.
Não. E isso
já
aí
esqueci. O que é Bachelor em português mesmo?
É bacharelado.
Bacharelado.
Sim, isso.
Esqueci.
E no caso é relações internacionais, não é isso?
Sim. Relações internacionais e management.
Sim.
E eu Eu ia perguntar sobre essa questão da sua área de estudo. Você tem planejado as línguas que quer aprender ou as línguas que você quer ter mais domínio com base no seu plano de carreira, plano de estudo? Como é isso?
Sim, um pouco, sim, porque, pois, pois olha, a maioria das línguas que aprendi, pois foi durante os meus primeiros estudos de órgão e música sacra, mas pois, quando eu comecei a estudar relações internacionais, sim, quis aprender o português, porque sim, gostava muito. E também o tcheco, porque queria fazer um Erasmus, intercâmbio, na República Tcheca. Na República Tcheca, sim, por isso.
E
E
você foi
japonês?
à República Tcheca?
Sim, foi a República Tcheca por 2 meses no 2020. 2020. Antes da
2020.
corona. Antes da corona. E pois fiz o meu semestre, o trimestre. Pois foi muito curto, muito breve, mas sim, eu terminei. E,
Que bom.
pois sim, pois todas as matérias foram em inglês, mas sim, mas depois pois melhorei o meu tcheco, porque foi para um curso do nível B2, e no semestre passado, no verão, obtive o certificado de B2 de tcheco.
Que bom.
Mas na República Tcheca eu quase não falava tcheco,
Falava o quê?
porque
Inglês?
nos grupos, pois tinha somente como os estudantes de intercâmbio, de Erasmus, e eslovacos, por exemplo, mas
Sim,
muito pouca gente da República Tcheca.
Acontece isso, Erasmus, né?
Mas você conversava com ele em inglês ou em outra língua?
Com os Erasmus,
Sim.
conversei em russo, porque uma estudante era da Ucrânia e a outra do Uzbequistão.
Legal.
Sim, e o outro estudante era da Itália, e por isso eu conversei ou em inglês ou em italiano. E com estes eslovacos conversei em tcheco, mas não entendia tudo, porque o eslovaco é um pouco diferente do tcheco, e pois tem muitas nuances diferentes. Mas agora já entendo mais o eslovaco, porque sim, já o meu tcheco já melhorou, e sim, entendo melhor o eslovaco.
Legal. Esse intercâmbio cultural é muito bom.
Sim, pois é.
E você, eu tenho uma curiosidade, você escuta mais português brasileiro ou português da África ou da Europa?
Eu ia perguntar isso também.
Pois estou aprendendo, estou melhorando pois as duas variações, né? O europeu e o brasileiro. E escuto ambos, não é? As duas. O português da África não escutei muito, mas conheço, por exemplo, a Cesária Évora, que canta em português do Cabo Verde. E pois é muito como mais suave, um pouco
É.
mais, sim, melódico do português europeu.
Eu acho
Eu
eles
gosto muito.
o português da África um pouco mais próximo do português europeu
Sim, é mais próximo, mas
do
um
que o
pouco mais
português
melódico.
brasileiro. O português brasileiro é mais aberto.
Brasileiro. Hum.
Até a gente fala mais, com a boca mais aberta, assim.
É, a vogal mais aberta.
Sim.
Eu queria, antes de a gente ir para a parte final do episódio, eu queria perguntar para você, sei lá, falar um pouco sobre o seu país, né? A Bulgária.
Hum.
Porque eu acho que muitos brasileiros não têm nem ideia do que é a Bulgária, tá entendendo? Então, acho que os brasileiros não conhecem muito sobre esse país. Então, se você
Os
pudesse falar.
brasileiros não têm muito conhecimento dessa parte do leste europeu, assim, em
Não
geral,
tem.
né?
Por exemplo,
É,
Hungria, Bulgária, Macedônia, esses
Romênia,
países, Romênia, esses países são desconhecidos dos brasileiros, hein?
como é a
E
cultura e
como,
tal.
como é que o nosso podcast tem um grande público brasileiro, né? Acho que seria interessante você falar um pouco sobre como é a Bulgária, como é o país.
Hum.
Se você quiser falar inglês também, mas tiver
Sim,
Fique à vontade
posso
aí para
falar,
falar.
à
sim, posso
vontade.
falar inglês, porque não sei,
Uhum,
porque não, acho que não, não todo o público aqui são brasileiros, né?
uhum,
Hum.
Por isso. Uh, yeah, so I'm gonna continue in English, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about Bulgaria. So Bulgaria is a country on the Balkan Peninsula, or the eastern part of Europe, like southeastern part. It has like 6 million inhabitants, and yeah, and it's like the language which is spoken is Bulgarian, and is a Slavic language from the southern branch of Slavic languages. So it's similar to Serbian, Croatian, Macedonian, and Bosnian. Bulgarians are usually famous with their hospitality and open-mindedness. So they're really open, also to new cultures, and they're like the people from the southern part of Europe. They're like improvise very much at work, for example, so that they're spontaneous, and let's express it in an intercultural terms. So their culture or our culture is like polychronic. It's that means that they are like presence oriented, not future oriented. Germans, they like improvising. For example, at work, they usually speak both about work and about their private life, which is, for example, not the case in Germany, which has a monochrome culture. It's a special term from cultural psychology. And what else? So in Bulgaria, there are many mountains, and you can like come to Bulgaria in order to like go for walks in the mountains. We also have seaside, the Black Sea, for example. You can also come to the seaside, to the beach. So Bulgaria is very famous with their beaches, with their resorts in Varna, the Gold Sand, and Sunny Beach, for example, or Albena is also very famous, a very famous resort, and the mountains that are also famous in Europe and also in like all around the world. are Rila, Rodopi, Stara Planina as well, and resorts in the mountains that are really famous for those who love skiing, who like skiing, are Borovec, Pamporovo, Bansko. For example, in Bansko, there is a regular championship of like for skiing and winter sports like biathlon, triathlon, slalom, and so on. So Bansko is really famous also all around the world.
And how about the cuisine?
The cuisine is really similar to the Turkish one, to the Greek one, because we have like influences, many influences from Greek and Turkish cuisine. For example, we eat much yogurt, which is very special because it has a substance called Bacterium bulgaricum, the Bulgarian substance, you know, which like it's not possible that this substance develops in other countries if you like try to prepare yogurt in like abroad, overseas. So yogurt is very famous, and of course pastry as well. And for example, we have like pastry with cheese, like feta cheese. It's similar to feta, our cheese. And this pastry is usually eaten for breakfast with yogurt, and it's called banica. It's a little bit similar, like the fila pastry, the fila dough from Greece. And we also have a dish which is also Greek, called moussaka, or in Greek, I think in Greece they call it moussaka. It consists of potatoes and meat and like eggs, and it's also eaten with yogurt on it. We also have like we also eat much sauerkraut that we prepare like like the whole cabbage, so it's not cut like it's the case, for example, in Germany or Russia, but it's like it's prepared like the whole cabbages are put and like and then you can put salt and everything. So so that's how the sauerkraut is prepared, and we have many recipes with sauerkraut as well. For example, pork with sauerkraut, or like rolls, like sushi, you know, a little bit like sushi with sauerkraut and rice and meat on it, in it. So you roll them like the sushi, and the same sushi we also have with wine, like wine leaves. So the like the grapes, right? The leaves of grapes, you know. So we have.
I think I'm feeling hungry.
Yeah. And we also have many soups, for example, chicken soup, or also fish soup.
Sweet soup here?
No, fish.
No, I mean
sweet soup. No,
like sweet soup here. They have sweet soup.
No,
So
I
weird.
think it's rather in Poland. They have sweet soup with cherries and so on, but in Bulgaria there is not. No. And beans, we eat much beans and lentils as well.
I love
I love it too.
It's like people from Ceará.
Ceará, we cannot live without beans.
Yeah. Ceará is the state of Brazil that me and Andresa came from. Yeah, and what is the name of your hometown, Olga?
The name of my hometown is Shumen. It's in the eastern part of Bulgaria. and it's near the Black Sea, but it's not on the seaside, not directly. So, yeah, it's near Varna. It's near like all these resorts on the seaside, but it's not on the Black Sea directly.
You have the sea. Amazing.
We have we have the Black Sea. Yes.
Ok, eu acho que a gente está chegando ao final do episódio e no final de todos os nossos episódios a gente pergunta aos nossos convidados quais são as recomendações culturais que eles têm.
Pode ser alguma coisa assim, não precisa ser nada muito profundo.
Pode ser um livro, pode ser uma peça teatral, um filme.
Documentário.
Então, o que você quiser recomendar
algo que
aí.
você acha que as pessoas devam assistir, que seja interessante. Ler.
Talvez eles recomende um livro clássico da literatura búlgara clássica, que se chama Baiganio, que é escrito pelo autor Aleco Constantinov, e se trata de um búlgaro típico que se chama Baiganio e que faz viagens na Europa, na toda a Europa, e que quer conhecer lá, não necessariamente quer, mas prova de conhecer as diferenças culturais na Europa. Ele como vende azeite de rosas, que é um produto muito conhecido na Bulgária. E nesse livro...
Azeite de rosas.
Como sim. Pois se usa como um material para cosmética, né? Para sabões, tudo isso. E depois neste livro se pode ver como um búlgaro pensa que cultura, pois que diferenças culturais tem entre o búlgaro e a Bulgária e a Europa. Mas eu também um pouco satírico, não é? Um pouco humorístico, um pouco satírico, com muitas hipérbolas, não é?
Sim.
Sim,
com figuras
sim,
de linguagens, né?
Também, sim, também. E não sei se é traduzido no português, não tenho nem ideia.
Sim.
No inglês, não estou segura, mas
talvez tenha no inglês.
Talvez tenha. Baiganio.
Tá certo. É excelente a recomendação, porque é uma coisa da sua cultura, né? E tal. Agora eu queria deixar um espaço para você, se você quiser falar mais sobre você, sobre o seu trabalho. E também, se você também quiser falar um pouco sobre o que você sabe do Brasil também.
Sim, pois no Brasil. No Brasil faz muito sol. Não. Sim, pois o Brasil
Saudades.
Sim, Aaron. A minha pois, a associação com o Brasil é a Bossa Nova. E não é o futebol, não é o carnaval, mas é a Bossa Nova. E o Paulo Coelho.
Excelente.
Que gostaria de ler uma vez. Pois também gosto da samba, que é outro tipo de dança e música brasileira.
Muito bom.
Samba.
Do samba, né?
Do samba, sim, samba.
Sim. Você tem que conhecer o forró.
Sim, o forró, sim,
também. Forró é daqui também.
Ouvi um pouco, sim, e gosto muito porque é música tradicional do Brasil.
Sim.
Eu conheço uma música, acho que se chama Madalena, ou algo assim. Começa assim. Pom, 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 pom. Pom, 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 pom. Pois se interpreta justamente com bateria e canto. Conhecem?
Eu não tô recordando agora aqui,
Também
mas
não.
vou procurar. Madalena, né?
Penso, mas não estou segura.
Sim, eu vou procurar.
Uhum.
E é isso. Você quer falar um pouco mais sobre o seu trabalho, sobre essa
Sim,
sua como é que eu posso dizer, sua desenvoltura musical?
sim, sim, claro, claro. Eu estou trabalhando como organista numa igreja católica, pois justamente no fim de semana e nos dias festivos como na Páscoa, Natal, sim, todos os dias festivos também. Pois toco órgão nas missas e improviso muito, pois não toco repertório, mas improviso. E pois acompanho os cantos, né? Os cantos que a gente canta. Às vezes também canto algo gregoriano, no medieval. E gosto muito disso. E pois no futuro, quando terminar com os estudos, gostaria de fazer o mestrado de management intercultural, pois se trata de comunicação intercultural, diferenças culturais, etc. E depois trabalhar, por exemplo, no campo da comunicação intercultural, por exemplo, fazer onboarding para gente estrangeira numa empresa, ou também fazer como treinamentos interculturais, intercultural training numa empresa, ou trabalhar com social media, redes sociais também, escrever artigos.
Legal.
E,
Muitos
claro,
planos.
trabalhar com línguas.
Muitos planos aí.
Maravilha.
Pois
Muito bom.
é isso aí. Gostei do papo, Olga. Para quem quer ver a Olga tocando, tem um vídeo no YouTube, acho, do Poliglotar. Ela deu uma palestra lá no Poliglotar. E eu acho que
Mas não
deve...
somente na palestra do Poliglotar toco,
Uhum.
mas também tenho um canal no YouTube que se chama Olga Koeva,
Pronto, aí.
como o meu nome. E,
A gente vai colocar o link, é.
o link.
A
Sim.
gente vai pôr o link no episódio.
E aí também toco órgão e canto, e vou pois adicionar outros vídeos pronto, pois.
É isso aí. Então
Que
é
legal.
isso. Se você ouviu esse episódio e achou muito interessante, compartilhe com seus amigos e não deixe de nos seguir nas redes sociais. E se tiver alguma sugestão,
Se tiver alguma
envie.
pergunta
Sim,
sobre o episódio, a gente pode também conversar mais sobre,
sim,
discutir. Se quiser que a gente traga algum assunto que a gente discutiu aqui, que pode ser mais bem desenvolvido em um outro tópico, outro episódio também, vocês podem trazer aí isso para a gente, vai ser muito legal.
E é isso. E pode até a gente chamar a Olga de novo, novamente,
Sim,
com
claro.
alguma sugestão de vocês
Tem
para
muito
vir
Com muito
falar sobre
prazer.
algum outro assunto. Foi
Com muito
excelente,
prazer.
Olga. Obrigado. E
Tô
se
muito feliz.
vocês aí que
Obrigada.
estão ouvindo querem dar sugestões, é diversilíngua@gmail.com. Thank you, Olga. Until the next time.
Thank you so
The pleasure
much,
was
Olga. It
mine.
was so nice.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.